There was a post that came up recently in the VOpreneur Facebook group, and I thought it was a really good post. It asked a really good question. And I decided, hey, why don't I turn that into a short podcast episode just to dive into the subject matter a little bit deeper and help create hopefully anyway, a little bit more of an understanding. And so the question had to do with impressions on social media and what is a good impression rate on social media. So basically, what this individual was asking was how many people should see my post in order for me to know this post is working or this post isn't working? And I think it's a really important question because there's not one specific answer. I can't just tell you 1,000 people should see it or 5,000 people should see it because there are different variables that go into how some of this stuff is calculated. So let's start first with the definition of reach and impressions, because I think sometimes those are two words that get used interchangeably, but they're actually two distinct things. And so I think we need to understand those two distinct things to make sure that we're asking the right questions and looking at the right data. So reach is the total number of unique users who have been exposed to your content. So that could mean your post, your image, your video, etc. So whatever you've shared on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, whatever social media platform you're using, reach is the total number of unique users who have been exposed to your content. Impressions, on the other hand, is the total number of times that your content has been displayed. So you could have a reach of 500, but impressions of 1,000. And all that means is those 500 people, some of them saw it more than once. Maybe everybody saw it twice, or maybe half of them saw it 4 times, whatever. So impressions and reach are two different things. Impressions, again, the total number of times your content is displayed. That does not mean that they've engaged with it in any manner. They may not have even stopped to watch the video. You're sitting here, if you've got your phone in your hand and you're doing the swipe on Instagram, as you continue to flip through, once the video starts playing, that's an impression, even if you're just swiping right by it. So first important distinction, understanding the difference between reach and impressions. Now let's talk about organic reach. Organic reach is what the platforms are going to give you without paying for it. So, without doing a boosted post on Facebook, without doing a boosted post on Instagram, without doing an advertisement on LinkedIn, organic reach is what you are going to get. So, I share a post right now on a social media platform. Facebook is going to push it out to X number of people. Instagram is going to push it out to X number of people. LinkedIn pushes it out to X number of people. Now, once upon a time, it used to be that you could get approximately a 10% organic reach, and that was doing pretty good. So if you get a 10% organic reach, that means that let's say that you've got 1,000 people who are following you on LinkedIn, 100 people are going to see that post up front. That's a 10% organic reach. Now, those numbers have changed dramatically over time, and you can probably guess that they've moved very much in the wrong direction, or at least the wrong direction according to you and me, who are the ones that are using these platforms. So with Instagram, you're going to get an average reach of about 7.6%. And that's actually the highest of the social media platforms. And this is really surprising to me. So with Instagram, an average of 7.6% of their total number of followers are going to see your post initially. That's your organic reach. On Facebook, the numbers actually went down and then started to come back up again. So now they're at about 5.9%, give or take. The one that surprised me the most was LinkedIn, because if you asked me, where do I get the most organic reach? I would tell you all day long that I get it on LinkedIn. And I could probably show you the data to back that up. But LinkedIn, on average, only 3.92% organic reach. The other one that I was able to look up was TikTok. And there's not hard numbers on TikTok, but it's kind of estimated that the average organic reach is around 3%. So let's just average all of those out for the fun of it and say that on average, you're going to get approximately 5% organic reach. So that means that if you have 500 followers and you receive 5% organic reach, about 25 people are going to see your content initially. So one of the questions that often comes up is, why is nobody seeing my content? Well, the first thing that you're going to have to do is figure out how many people are in your network in the first place. Because if you are struggling with LinkedIn and you're frustrated, well, it's not even worth using LinkedIn because only 10 people are seeing my content, but you've only got 100 or 200 followers on LinkedIn. That's the problem. The problem is with the size of your network. So the first thing that you need to do is not necessarily focus more on the content that you're sharing, but focus on expanding the size of your network. Send more connection requests, get more people into your network. So it's important to understand how these different sites work so that you can make sure that you're asking the right questions and focusing on the right solutions. Now, the other thing you need to understand is that algorithms reward engagement. What that means is if I share a post on LinkedIn, and let's just say again that I've got 1,000 people who are in my LinkedIn network. I share that post. It's going to go out to 50 people, give or take, right? We're estimating 5%. So it goes out to 50 people originally. If nobody engages with that post whatsoever, the post is going to die pretty quickly. And what that means is the algorithm is going to say, nobody's interested in this content, so it's going to stop pushing that content out. On the flip side, if you share a post and people start to comment or they start to react, that is to do the, the thumbs up, the like, the care, the love, all the different reactions that are available across different social media platforms. But if you start to generate that engagement, then all of a sudden you're going to see your reach start to go higher and higher and higher and higher. So the more people that you can get to engage, the more people that you can get to comment, the more people that you can get to react, the more people that you can get to watch your video longer. If you post a 90-second video and they only watch 3 seconds, then the algorithm is going to recognize that. If you post a 90-second video and they watch 90 seconds, the algorithm is going to say, wow, this is really good. It's going to push it out to even more people. So your goal should never be specifically, how do I get this in front of more people? How do I get more reach? Or how do I get more impressions? Your goal should be, how do I get more engagement? How do I create content that is going to make people want to drop a comment, make people want to watch the video longer, make people want to share the photograph, make people want to repost this insight that I have put into my feed? That's what your goal should be, because algorithms reward engagement. But then the second thing is algorithms reward posts that keep people on the platform longer. That's why if you are using social media to promote your podcast, which I do, to be clear, I know that when I put a link in one of my social media posts, I'm going to get less reach. It's a given. Why? Because I'm going against the algorithm's objective of keeping people on the platform longer by posting a link that's going to drive people off the platform. So I know that I'm going to get less reach, but I know that I'm still going to get some reach. And so I'm willing to have that trade-off if it means that a few more people find the podcast, a few more people watch the video, a few more people download, whatever. So remember, algorithms reward engagement and keeping people on the platform longer. So then the question becomes, how do we generate engagement? If your goal is to get more comments, more likes, more reposts, more shares, you have to have a strategy for building engagement. That's what you need to be thinking about with your social media, not just more eyeballs. If you get the engagement part right, you will get more eyeballs. So here's 4 different strategies that you can deploy to try to increase your engagement. First and foremost, give them something to engage with in the first place by asking a question in your post. Lots of times you'll see that some of the highest performing posts, and I can tell you from my own experience, particularly on LinkedIn, but also on Facebook as well, when I share a post that asks a question of some form or fashion, it's giving people a reason to respond. If I just share a simple marketing tip, there's really not a whole lot to say to that. They might give me a thumbs up if they like the tip, but there's probably not going to be a whole lot of engagement going on. On the flip side of that, if I share a marketing tip and say, can you tell me one of your recent marketing success stories? Now I've asked a question and I've given them a reason to engage with the post. So that's tip number one, ask a question in your post. And by the way, don't ever say, drop a comment or leave a comment or please comment. The algorithms can pick that up. So it's got to be a genuine question that's going to create genuine engagement. Number two is inviting readers to share their experience. So if you have written a post on a particular topic, whether that's talking about a recent movie that you saw and you want to know what other people thought about the movie, or you're talking about a recent experience with customer service, you want to know about other people's experience with customer service, or you shared the best piece of entrepreneurial advice that you've ever given and you want other people to share their best piece of entrepreneurial advice that they've ever been given, or you share an insight into a pro tip for something that you figured out in Adobe Audition. And now you're asking other people, hey, have you got any other pro tips that might be helpful in Adobe Audition? So you're inviting readers to share their experience based on the content of your post. You're doing the same thing. You're giving them a reason to respond. So you're creating a scenario that can generate engagement. Another tip, and it kind of falls in line with these, but again, depending on the post, depending on the context, is to just simply request feedback. What do you think about X? Whatever your topic is. It's a simple question, but it requests feedback. It invites them into the story. It invites them into the conversation. And when you invite them in, it creates an engagement opportunity. So these types of posts are the ones that are going to get much higher reach because they're going to generate much higher engagement. Now, let me just follow that up by saying, as you start to generate comments on your posts, it's important that you respond to the comments and don't just post simple thank you. Try to post meaningful responses in the comments because, again, more comments drives more reach. And that's what we want to do. We want to drive more engagement, drive more reach. And then the final tip of the 4 ways that you can generate a little bit more engagement, invite people into your direct messages. Direct messages are an interesting subject because some people will just send a DM. They don't care. Some people are very protective of their DMs. They don't want random strangers coming into their DMs. And so if you are one of the people who are willing to have people send you a direct message, let them know. You're basically giving them permission to come into your inbox so that they know it's okay. It's okay to send that direct message. So maybe you're sharing something that's a little bit more sensitive. Maybe you're talking about a subject that's a little bit more sensitive, and maybe somebody wouldn't be comfortable sharing that comment publicly, but they might be comfortable sending you a direct message. Or from a voiceover standpoint, maybe you're offering somebody the opportunity to request a free audition and you're inviting them to inbox you or direct message you with a copy of the script so that you can do that custom audition, or offering them to direct message you with specs on the project so that you can provide them with a custom quote. But all of these things are what is going to create engagement. So ask a question in your post, invite readers to share their experience, request feedback specifically, and invite people into your direct messages. These are 4 ways that you can create genuine engagement. And when you create genuine engagement on your content, you are absolutely going to drive the algorithm, which is going to drive reach. So when you are looking at your social media feeds, I would be paying attention to which posts generated the engagement and then start trying to reverse engineer them. Why did that post seem to generate more engagement than these 5 other posts that I shared? What was the subject matter? Did I ask a question or invite them into the conversation? Did I share a particular expertise? Did I offer something that resonated with the audience in a particular way? Did I share a video that made them want to watch through? Try to figure out what it was about that post, because now you can use that as a launching platform for your next post. You could potentially take that post and come up with some more ideas from it based on your own, or you could use AI and say, my 5 most recent my 5 most successful posts on social media were this post, this post, this post, this post, and this post. Can you generate 25 more posts based on these that I can use to create enhanced engagement? And then let the AI come up with some ideas for you. Now, I wouldn't take specifically what the AI wrote and share it, but I would certainly use it as a brainstorming buddy and as a launching pad to say, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to rewrite it in my voice. I'm going to rewrite it to suit my brand, or I'm going to rewrite it to target my audience. And you could use it to help you come up with ideas. But it's really easy when you're looking at analytics. And I know this particularly on LinkedIn, been there, done that. It's really easy to look at impressions. And if you see a big impressions number, it's really easy to start getting excited. But I'm not saying don't look at that number, but I'm saying that particular number in and of itself isn't the be all end all. Yes, obviously we want more eyeballs to see, but we also want targeted eyeballs to see. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you write a post that speaks specifically to instructional designers and the e-learning work that you do. And you get 5,000 impressions, and you're super excited because you got 5,000 impressions. But if those 5,000 impressions came from voice actors, what did you accomplish? On the flip side, if you only had 500 impressions, but all 500 impressions were instructional designers, well, that might be a better result, actually. And so that's why you got to be careful about looking at the numbers and how you interpret the numbers. Yes, we ultimately want to get higher reach, but what we really need first is higher engagement. Generate that, and the reach will follow. So hopefully this has been helpful for you in starting to think differently about the content that you're creating and sharing on social media, so that you make sure that every time you put something up, you're asking yourself, how do I get my target audience for this content to engage with this post? If you can start doing that on a more consistent basis, you are going to start seeing your social media numbers grow and grow and grow. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we want? Don't we want to get in front of more people so that we can potentially create more opportunities? So it's all about how you do it. Use the right strategy. Always be thinking about, how do I generate more engagement?